Hey everyone, this is Alex from the Tech Tigers. Today I'm going to show you how to use the CV Toolkit to tune your OpenCV pipelines easier. We created the CV Toolkit because we recognized how annoying it was to tune OpenCV pipelines and try out different operations. It's a lot of boilerplate code and we want to eliminate that. So we created the CV Toolkit. You can find it by going to our website, techtigers.team, going over resources and clicking on CV Toolkit. Now, let's go through these instructions step by step. First, I'm going to clone the repository from our GitHub. We're going to click on the code button, copy the link. Now, you can use any editor you want, but I'm going to use Visual Studio Code. I'm going to clone the repository and save it to the developer folder. Now, I'll split screen so you can see me follow the instructions step by step. Now, we need to make a virtual environment to store all of our dependencies for this project. I'm going to open the terminal and type in python3-m venv.venv. That stands for virtual environment. Now that it's created, I'm going to activate it with stores.venv/bin/activate. And now I'm going to install all of the requirements for this project using pip install-r requirements.txt. Let it install. Finally, to launch the website, I'm going to run it by using the command streamlit run main.py. You might have to give it a second here as it runs for the first time. Sometimes reloading it will help. Okay, we're in. Now, let me go through the structure of this website for a second. The way it works is that we have a bunch of steps in the lib folder, in the steps folder. These are all OpenCV operations encapsulated in a Python file. If I go to the Gaussian blur step, you can see in the process method, it's getting kernel size, sigma x, sigma y, and it's applying it using OpenCV. It's all contained using object-oriented programming. Now, you might ask, where does it get this information from? It's all stored in a JSON file in this data folder. I'm going to open up pipeline settings.json. You can see a bunch of steps in this list. In this list, we've got dictionaries. We store information like the type of step, a description, whether it's enabled, and some settings. So settings include any kinds of data like the kernel size, iterations. This is for erosion, obviously. We've included dilation, Gaussian blur, and a half circle transform in this pipeline. We've also given a few other pipelines. This is a ring pipeline, which we'll go over for detecting rings, like stackable ones that kids play with. And there's a few others in here. These are all the steps that we've launched with the program. They're all OpenCV operations. But you can easily add your own. We have instructions for that on our website, and you can always contact us if you need help. Now that we've gone over the basic format, let's put this to the side and open our website. I'm going to upload an image. This is a simple image of some rings. Right now, we've disabled all the steps except the Gaussian blur. So there's a small blur in this image. If I make the sigma x and sigma y bigger, you might be able to notice it more. You can see a lot of the detail has been blurred away. Now, I'm going to enable the erosion step. The erosion step erodes a lot of detail from the image. I can change how many times I erode and how big the kernel size is. So maybe I want the kernel size to be pretty small to keep most of the detail. You can see it's so much easier to play around with these sliders than to change numbers and rerun a program. That looks pretty good. We've clearly identified the colors and circles in this image, and we've filtered out a lot of the noise from the ground. Let's just say that I want to save this pipeline. Normally, if I don't save the file and I leave this website, all my information will get lost. But we've made it very easy with this big button that says Save Settings. If I click on the Save Settings button, it downloads my pipeline as a JSON file. In fact, I can open this file and see all of my steps. You can see that erosion is now true and that the kernel size is pretty small and I have a few iterations on it. All the data that we just did over here has been saved. Now here's the cool part. I'm going to close this window and stop the program. You would think that we've lost all our data, but if I run streamlit, run main.py, and launch the website, as you can see, it says everything's gone, but if I upload the pipeline and I upload the image, you might have to reload just for it to take effect. There you go. It's been saved. You can see that our erosion settings and Gaussian blur settings have been saved into this image. There's a handy zoom in button over here if you want to take a closer look. If you ever want to rearrange your steps or change anything about them, you can always go into the JSON file in your text editor. Maybe I want to put dilation after the Gaussian blur. No problem. I can just go here, go to the end of Gaussian blur, paste it in. And now if I reload the page, you can see Gaussian blur comes before dilation. It's very flexible and very easy to change how this thing works. All you have to do is clone it from our repository and edit it as you please. So that's a brief overview of the CV toolkit. It's super handy for changing your pipelines on the fly. It makes it easy to save your data and upload it if you need to. And it's very modular in case you need to change it. You can find more instructions on our website, and you can always contact us at our email if needed. Thank you for watching.